Happy Tuesday! Today I want to talk to you about adoption, fostering, and I just want to welcome you. I'm from El Paso, Texas. I am actually grew up in Illinois, and I am not missing that winter. So my prayers are with my family as you continue to have winter. It is the spring here now. The flowers are budding on the trees. My peach tree has buds this year, so I'm sure I'll have peaches. I want to talk about adoption. I think it's very important for fostering and adopting that you be prepared. We started out our adventure with fostering by taking in a little girl. She was in second grade in a private school, and I was the pre-K teacher. She fell in love with my daughter, wanted to play with her and everything, and we developed a relationship and a bond. I was asked to take her. It was kind of an emergency situation. I was not trained. I was not prepared for the trauma that this little girl had. She had gone through so much trauma, and we did not have any tools in our toolbox on how to handle a child that went through as much trauma as she did. So, training is important. Training is what will get you through the hard times. So, if you don't think you need the training, I can tell you, you do. Basically, the training is going to teach you how to parent a child that comes from traumatic events. They're going to make you empathize with the child. But they're also going to start poking you in areas that maybe you have insecurities, because a child that's broken and hurting will point to those insecurities. They know how to do that because they are filled with them. So you need to have grace. You need to be able to be prepared and pull from the tools that they teach you on how to discipline, how to carry the child through a traumatic time. Visits with parents will usually trigger some sort of memory. You need to be prepared. When they're finished preparing you by training you how to understand and take care of the trauma that this child is experiencing, then they will come into your home and they will inspect it. They will make sure you have fire alarms. They will make sure you have fire extinguishers. They will make sure that you have a certain square foot per child. Whenever I hear people say, foster parents, do it for money, I just have to laugh. It will cost you about $1,000 to get everything done that you need to do. You're going to need to have furniture. Think of this. You just got a teenager last week. That teenager went back home and you got an infant. Think about that. Can an infant sleep in a twin-size bed? No. You have to have a crib, and it has to meet the standards of the state. So these things will cost you. You need a car seat. You need teenager stuff. You need to have things to keep them entertained. All of these things. It's almost like you have to have a Barney bag that you just dig into and you pull out. Hey, this is for an infant. Oh, wait, now I have a 6-year-old. Oh, wait, I have a high school student. And you have to have the things to prepare so that they feel like they are home. Home. Something they don't know about. They don't understand what a home means. They don't understand many times what stability looks like. And so you need to be prepared that they're going to challenge you. You're going to have a great first 4 weeks. And then when they feel safe, they are going to take all this stuff that they've carried in here, and they're just going to lay it out for you. And it's not going to be, hey, you know what? I'm feeling a little sad. They're going to swear at you. They're going to point at you and say, I hate you. They're going to do these things. And it's because this world has failed them in many ways. And because the world has failed them, they don't understand what it means to be safe. So you need all the training, all the support. And let me tell you, just as a side note, if you are not as a couple in this together, don't do it. Because if the child suspects that the one parent does not care for them to be in their home, they will be wounded again. So don't do it. Wait until the timing is right. When we moved from Illinois to Texas after the experience with the foster child we had, we decided to wait. We wanted to make sure that we invested in our girls, that they grew up healthy and happy. And Texas is different than Illinois. So when I met Anthony, number one child that we adopted, I met him. He was at a middle school camp that Young Life had, and he came over to our house. I just met him once. Well, then he was at a Young Life camp that he wasn't supposed to be at because he was only in middle school, and he stole my heart. And I knew this was the child that the Lord had laid on my heart to adopt. Well, like I just said, I had to go home and ask and make sure that Mo was okay with it. That's when the training began. It took us about 6 months in the training. It took readjusting our home, moving our children around so that Anthony had a room. It took a lot of work to get to the point where Anthony could move in. And then within 6 months, as you can see, this is Anthony. As you can see, this is me. It was interracial. Within 6 months, the bullying, the difficulties of adjusting into a family was too much for him, and it failed. Failed the first time. But Mo and I didn't give up. We went through all the training again, all of the inspections again, everything again. And by that time, our girls had moved on into their own lives, and we had moved to a new home. So essentially, Anthony came in as an only child. So at that time, we started fostering. Well, we would get in kids, and I can tell you this. We adopted Anthony. He was ours forever, forever and ever, and he knew that. But Anthony felt many times, because of the way foster care takes you and moves you and does all of that, he felt like maybe no one loved him. Maybe no one cared when he left. Maybe it was, see ya, party time, kid's gone. But when he saw this mama, his mama, cry because the baby was leaving, and when he saw the celebration we had on each child that we got, and then the mourning we had when we lost them, it healed a brokenness in him. So don't think you can't do it because you've adopted. Just make sure that the timing is right. So for Anthony, there was a lot of healing with us fostering. So when you are preparing your home, understand that even in the best of circumstances, there's going to be difficult, dark times. One lady told my mother once that she knew her nephew that she had adopted because his parents had passed away was hers when she stopped thinking, you need to go. Because as much as they think that, hey, you know what? Things aren't working out. My history teaches me that I run. I fight, or freeze. And most of the time, flight is the answer that they have. So you have to teach them that families fight. It's difficult, and you have to work through that. And you have to teach them that it is loving. Families, adopt the age group that you want. But teenagers are not that difficult. As you can see, we adopted our second one. He was 2 weeks shy of aging out. They need homes. When they go to college, they need homes. When they have struggles, they need to be able to come back to some place that they can call home. And when you graduated, when I graduated, I still needed my family, and they need a family. There's no magic button that happens that they push. I'm 18 and now I'm responsible. If you see kids that are homeless, if you see kids that are dysfunctional and end up back in jail, I can tell you when you start to research their background, many of them came from a very unhealthy background, fostered, adopted, failed adoption. Things like that happen to these kids. So we need to make sure that we're understanding that, whether it's in the classroom, that you understand trauma, how you handle trauma. Understand that we don't know if a child's going to be there next week. So we don't know how much to invest in what you want them to do as far as schoolwork. They come in needing new rules for school to be followed, new rules for the home to be followed, rules, 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 rules. And then they get told by the state, you can't do this. You can't go ride a bike like a normal kid because if you fall, then the family might be considered neglectful. You can't go down to the park by yourself. You can't do those things. They hit 18, and you know what? The word you can't is a sour taste in their mouth. And they don't want to be in foster care. They don't want to take the handout. So if they're not adopted, they end up making poor choices. So my suggestion, when you are preparing to adopt, research it, pray about it, talk to your family about it. Know that it is the whole family that gets involved. For Anthony, his mentor was super important. He needed, from 13 until 18, he needed a mentor. And so find those mentors. Churches provide respite. Respite means that the person watching the child for the foster parents has had training. They have first aid, CPR, just like the foster parents. But they don't come in and inspect your home. But they need to make sure that you're not dangerous to that child. But sometimes foster parents will need a break. Be that break for them. Pray for them. When they get a new child in, like I said, you're pulling from a bag. Oh, now I have a baby. I'm going to need formula, diapers, clothes, bed, stroller, car seat, high chair, baby food, and I have 5 hours to get it. Be a resource for those foster homes. You can do it. You can make this system work. It's not going to be by the state providing the answer. It's going to be about a community surrounding foster parents as they have the kids. You don't know how long you have to make an impression on those children's hearts. But it's our job, it's our responsibility to do our best. So if you don't want to foster, help out a foster family by donating items. Pray for them. Be a grandma to children that desire a grandma. Spoil them. Love on them. And remember that when we, as foster parents, are in crisis, we need a calming voice saying, you're doing okay. Be willing to fail, because it does, it happens. Forgive yourself. Know there's other children out there who need to be loved. So, I've given you a lot to chew on. If you have any questions, please go ahead and text me, and or message me. Don't text me because I don't give you my number. But text me or message me, and I will be glad to answer your questions. Thank you. See you later.